You are once again welcome to Evangelist Imakalu TV, Treasury of Excellent Knowledge. I am your serviceable servant, Evangelist Imakalu. Real quick, I want to talk on the responsibility and enjoyment in marriage. The responsibility and enjoyment in marriage. I have been declaring that marriage is made for enjoyment, while some people began to controvert over it, saying that there is no enjoyment in marriage, that marriage is a labor, marriage is a work, marriage is this, marriage is that. But one good thing is that these people I see saying this are not the type of people that promote unfaithfulness in marriage. They are not the kind of people that promote feminism. They are not the kind of people that promote divorce. They are also virtuous women according to their capacity, because this controversy had always been coming from the side of the women, that there is no enjoyment in marriage, but it is all about labor. So I know certainly that it is as a result of their misconception of and the misunderstanding of the purpose of marriage. When purpose is misunderstood, abuse is inevitable. When purpose is misunderstood, even the enjoyment will begin to appear as if it is a punishment. Even the principle to enjoying will be lost. And when these people cannot abide to the principle, they begin to frustrate, they begin to even suffer the marriage itself, and the marriage begin to suffer them back. That is what is happening. I don't want this video to be too long, but I want to hit on a few vital points. Let me read the Bible quotation. Genesis chapter 2. I will read from verse 24 and verse 25 only. Say, therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife were both naked, and were not ashamed. It is not a long video, but I want to hit on few pivotal points. Is marriage a work? My answer is yes. Is there enjoyment in marriage? My answer is yes. Marriage is a means of stewardship, to steward relationship between the couple, to steward the children that will be produced through that marriage, to be enjoying the sexual life. God does not permit any kind of sexual life outside of marriage. And there is nothing that comes from God that is meant to punish humanity. After all, the blessings of God, it maketh rich, and it added no sorrow to it. I read this, the Bible quotation I have read is from ESV, English Standard Version. So, marriage is not a punishment. Marriage is a labor, it's a responsibility, quite well. But it is an honorable responsibility. It is when people do not manage their marriage according to the purpose. The purpose is according to God's intention, God's interest of marriage. This is when people begin to see marriage as if it is a punishable venture. And it is based on this issue that some people say that marriage is not an investment. It is not true. It is a lie. Marriage is an investment. Marriage is God's investment. Not just an investment, but God's investment. It is instituted by God himself. It is God's investment for reproduction of humanity, for procreation. God has said, go into the world and multiply. Multiply, not only bearing children, being productive in different areas, in all aspects of life, but now we are talking about marriage. I'm specific on marriage. Marriage is God's investment. So it cannot be anything less than that. Rather, it can be something more than that. Is there labor in marriage? Yes, but it is a diligent labor according to God's plan. But when the labor is out of God's plan, it becomes a punishable labor instead of being a diligent and honorable labor. It is when marriage is built outside of the foundation of God. When marriage is built on lust, L-U-S-T, lust, the eagerness to fulfilling fleshly or selfish desire. That lust can be a lust of the husband or the lust of the wife or the lust of both of them, selfish interest of the both of them battling against each other in that marriage. It can be lust of the extended families. So these are the areas I'm going to touch. First of all, the Bible says that the man should leave his father and his mother and should hold fast to his wife, and the two of them should become one flesh. That verse 24 is about that the man must be matured. It must be a matured-minded person. It must be an independent man. Independence, it does not mean being arrogant. It does not mean not seeking advice. It does not mean not seeking correction when mistaken. It does not mean being perfect. No, that is not what independence means. Independence means that the person should be matured enough to become a good manager, to manage what really belongs to him. The marriage belongs to the husband and the wife. The marriage does not belong to the parents of the husband. The marriage does not belong to the parents of the wife. The marriage does not belong to the siblings of the both party. So, in essence, the marriage does not belong to the secondary families. In marriage, this couple become the primary family, and the primary family should be matured. They should be matured-minded. He said the two of them should cling. They should become one flesh. They should be one. Becoming one flesh means the two must have a common goal. The two must align in their mindset. The two must align in their interest. Common interest. It must be a collective interest. There must be collaboration. There must be transparency, that the two of them were naked and they were not ashamed. There is nothing to hide. It is when there is something to hide, either by the wife or by the husband, that is what makes the marriage to become laborious. The marriage will be turned into a battlefield instead of a divine purposeful field from what it is really meant to be by God himself. This is when human beings begin to alter the purpose of marriage, God's intention, the will of God concerning marriage. Excuse me. There is nothing that sabotages marriage than selfish interest. It is selfishness of the people, either from the man or from the woman, that primarily sabotages the marriage. Another thing is dependency. When the man is not man enough to be dependent, to thinking rightly, making the right decision, making the right choice, managing his family well, or the woman is dependent, the woman is not matured-minded, the woman does not understand the principle of humility and cooperation in marriage. What do I mean in detail? When the man should be depending on his father or his mother to make decisions or major decisions that will be implemented into his marriage. When the marriage is being controlled by the family members, either by the father or by the mother or any of the siblings from the man's side. Vice versa, when the marriage is being influenced, major decisions of the marriage, anything that will happen between the husband and the wife, they cannot decide for themselves. They cannot agree on one thing and make their decision without inviting the third party. They must depend on either of the sister of the wife, a brother of the wife, the father of the wife, the mother of the wife, or any of the relative of the wife. before they will make their decision. It can be that they depend on third parties outside of their own families, from friends and associates, from business partners, from boss, from pastors. I am an evangelist. It is wrong for a married woman, any kind of married woman, to depend on me to be making decision in her marriage, to be influencing her with my own decision that she will be implementing. I don't mean they will not seek advice. They must seek advice when the two of them have tried something and they cannot resolve it. And that advice from that married woman will always come with agreement, consent from her husband. The same is the case. The man should learn how to handle every matter as a matured man. The man should be intellectually well to do, not just financially well to do. Not just financially well to do, intellectually well to do. To be a good home manager, the woman should be a good home manager. The two of them should be wise to build. The wise build their house, but the foolish scatter their own house. So the foolish are the gullibles, the ignorant, and the wayward people. These are the people who scatter their own home. It is not God. Then, where the pastor is the decision maker, secretly or openly, it is not always good. They should be matured enough, and the two of them should always agree on something before they will even demand any advice from any pastor or from any evangelist or from any prophet, including demanding the idea, the suggestion or advice from me. Two of you must have tried to sort it out. It is only when it is beyond your capability to be resolved. And seeking this advice, you must also try to identify a trusted man or woman of God, because many people are manipulative. They can be taken advantage. It's not many people are taking advantage. It is not something that is possible. It is something that is happening. It is already happening. We know about this. So primarily, it is when immature people are in marriage. This is when this thing happens. Those women, those married women who always run around the pastors, beginning to see the pastors, beginning to see the evangelists as their deity, as whatsoever, as whatever, and they respect them, they worship them, and most especially, they will not even they will no longer be respecting their husband duly. Those women are immatured. They are part of the foolish people in marriage. So they are the people bringing the trouble into the marriage. If it is the man, the wife, the husband, the husband that has this attitude of never being able to taking decision, making the wise decision, resolving issues, planning things, and getting them done between him and his wife, without going to the pastors, without going to the imams, without going to witch doctors, without going to whatever. When they are not matured, this is when they will have solution rather than them knowing the solution, because they are not knowledgeable about the principle of God concerning marriage. They will begin to seek solution from occultic priests, from witch doctors, from whosoever, who will end up manipulating them, who will cause more trouble into them, because these people are game players. What they do is what is called problem, reaction, solution. You go to them with one problem, they will solve that one problem for you, then they will create 3 or 4 problems to you. Inside of that 4 problems, 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 of them will make you to always return to them to seek solution. As while they continue to solve 1, they continue to create 3, and your problem can never end. This is how they operate. It is called problem, reaction, solution, and this is on the spirituality. It has political side of it, it has business side of it, but I'm not written on that topic. But I'm talking about the labor and enjoyment of marriage. So the labor part of it is that the man and the woman should, according to God's purpose, they should be knowledgeable in the word of God, in the principle of God. And that marriage should be built on the word and the principle of God. When it is done, they don't need any external body to manage their marriage well. Then, have you wondered why these pastors you go to, why do they don't go to others to seek advice? Why can they manage their own marriage? I mean, even the faithful ones is because they know these secrets. They know, they are knowledgeable in the word of God and on the principle of God, and that is where they build their marriage. So it requires two faithful people to run a successful marriage. When there is no faithfulness, when there is selfishness, it is also an error for the man to allow his family to be determining how money should be spent in his own family, in his marriage. It is also wrong for the woman to come into the marriage with hustling mindset, with the mindset that she is coming into the marriage to make money from her husband, to go and build her extended family. I mean the family where she was born, not the family she is married into. I'm not talking about the family where the man is being born. I mean the new family now. The family the two of them are building together. Also, parents, you should help. Parents should help. African parents most especially. It is an error for you parents to keep believing that the reason your daughter is getting married is for her to go and be making money from that marriage. Marriage is not your factory. Your daughter's marriage is not your factory. Your daughter's husband is not your factory. Where is your factory? You should be making money from your factory. You should be making money from your job. Okay, you may tell me you are aged. Where is your investment? Where is your retirement plan? How have you planned about your retirement? So you have been hoping all along. I know it had been happening in those days. That had been the system, but it had been erroneous. But this time around, we the younger people from 50 and below, we should begin to control, we should begin to change, we should begin to reverse the case. We cannot continue to make this kind of mistake our mothers, our fathers had made in the past. A lot of them did not plan. They did not plan their retirement, and they depend on the children, forgetting that the children, while growing up, they will have their own responsibility. So it's what makes the marriage to become to appear as if it's a trouble is part of this component. When the couple, the married people, the husband and wife, are not allowed to enjoy their marriage, when they are not allowed, when they will be in the marriage, the parents and the siblings of the woman will begin to trouble the marriage of their sister, because that is their hope for finance. That is their hope for finance. It is a very big error, and it is a threat to every marriage. When the same thing is the case from the side of the man, it is an error. It is a threat, economic threat to that marriage. Any marriage where this threat exists can never have peace. Can never have peace. Also, one of the reasons that make marriage to become only laborious and not enjoyable is because of wrong planning, poor vision, when there is no vision among the two. Also, selfishness, as I've explained, when the woman in marriage is still looking outside, when the woman in marriage is still looking outside to be enjoying sex outside of our marriage, when the man in marriage is still looking outside to be enjoying sex outside of our marriage, when the man of marriage, the woman of marriage still keep some kinds of irrelevant, irresponsible friends that influence her. The husband, keeping irresponsible friends that influence him, So the bad influence from the irresponsible friends and associates begin to affect their marriage. So marriage can only be enjoyable when the couple are matured, when the couple can be can be independent from influence of the friends and associates, from the influence of the parents. I don't mean hating the parents, I don't mean hating the siblings. I mean setting the healthy boundaries and build your marriage inside of the healthy boundaries. Never allow your marriage to go outside of the healthy boundaries, and never allow any kind of distraction from anybody, whether from the side of the woman or from the side of the man, to invade that healthy boundaries that have been created to build and protect that marriage. Marriage is a structure. Marriage is a project. Marriage is an investment. Marriage is for diligent labor. So having marriage, first of all, the good planning. One of the reasons that make marriage frustrating is many people never plan. Many people engage into marriage without preparation. They may be faithful, they may be psychologically independent, but they may not have financial planning. That also frustrates marriage when there is no financial planning. Some people move earlier, very earlier than their time. So it is not that life had happened to them, but they did not have financial plan. So they get into marriage, before you know it, they already have a child, they have already have born two, they born three, and there is no plan. When they should have planned and build themselves and build their financial means, at least if life does not happen to anybody, they should be able to be taking care of their family. Marriage, marriage is financially expensive. Marriage is financially expensive. So it is an investment. Anything that has to do with investment is something that you begin to put in money. You begin to put in money. You begin to put in money. You may not you may, definitely, certainly, you will not begin to harvest the dividends immediately, but you continue to build. You continue to build. Some investment, building little by little according to capacity, may take 15 years, may take 20 years, may take whatever, and you begin to reap the dividends. So how can people reap the dividends in marriage? It is building the children, training the children. You are building your successor. That is, you are replicating yourself in the younger generation, which are your children. Your children will take place, and you have to build a structure. You have to build a legacy. You have to build your generational pattern, generational inheritance, legacy, financial legacy, educational legacy, moral legacy, moral value, visionary legacy. What vision have you created and put on ground, so that even those who may not know what is vision, you begin on time to teach them. Some people can begin to build and develop their own vision from your own vision. Most married people are not visionary. Not that God has created them so, but because they are indolent. They are not active, they don't activate their divine potential, and some people do not value education. It is important for us to keep learning. Financial planning is very, very important in marriage. If you married, trace your mistake back. If you have made that mistake, then just know that the marriage is not the problem. Rather, your poor planning or lack of planning is the problem. Are you a potential father, a potential husband, a potential wife? You are yet to marry, and you are planning to marry. Check, is now the proper time for you to marry? Are you financially competent? I'm not talking about being so rich. I'm talking about, have you laid the financial foundation that will be funding the marriage, at least at its minimal basic standard, providing the basic commodities on a daily basis, on weekly basis, on monthly basis, like paying off the house rent, feeding the family, clothing them, transporting them, then paying the educational fees for the children. These are the basic things. What about the healthcare expenses, taking them to hospital when they are sick or whatever? All those things must be put in plan. So if you as a man or a couple to be, if you are not yet prepared for all this, I will advise that you will advance first, advance your economy, build yourself more, develop yourself more, develop your skill more, then build your economic capacity, your income capacity more. So as soon as you are faithful, because you may be holy, but if you don't have financial planning, marriage becomes frustrated to you. So this is not a matter of being anointed, it is a matter of facing the reality. So as I promise you, I don't want this video to be so long. It is now 25 minutes to 26 minutes, so the video will not go beyond 30 minutes. So plan yourself, plan your finance, become independent. Your mother should not be controlling your marriage anymore. I don't mean being in enmity with your parents or with your siblings from the wife side, from the husband side. I'm not talking about you being stingy to them. I'm talking about you. The marriage belongs to two of you. The marriage belongs to two of you, no matter how. They are all just familiar witnesses. They are familiar witnesses. They are the primary witnesses of your marriage. The marriage belongs to you primarily, and you are accountable to God. You have to be competent in knowledge, understanding the principles of marriage, applying the principles of marriage. And that is the reason my kind have been sent to you. It is my calling to keep educating you, and that is the reason I also write books to be educating the people. As you know, I am an evangelical author. You have to read my book, Understanding and Executing Righteousness. That is the master class, my master textbook. It has to do with a lot of things. When you begin to read the book and begin to apply the principles contained in those books, you begin to see things becoming easier for you, and you begin to see your errors as a person. You begin to see your strength as a person. You continue to improve on your strength. You continue to change, to reform yourself, to rehabilitate yourself, to transform yourself, to becoming born again from your own error, and getting better in your strength area. So may God bless you. I am also a custodian of Christianity. So what I'm doing here is exhibiting the custody of Christianity, protecting the integrity of Christianity, teaching us, guiding us on the real standard of Christianity, what Christianity really represents, from the misconception, misinterpretation, and false narrative people have against Christianity. At the same time, I am a human capital developer. It is all about developing the people, making people valuable and marketable. With this kind of teaching, the potential and the singles will learn and build themselves. They become potential, they become competent to becoming wife materials, husband materials. They become valuable and marketable. May God bless you until I come your way once again. I remain your serviceable servant, Evangelist Inyima Kalu.